Blitz is hungry.
Wow, we don't have a table. We need a table.
I do feel like that is making it a little bit awkward. The fact that we don't have a table.
Guys, check out the belt. Looks amazing. Big shout out to Trophy Smack. This thing turned out so much cooler than I even thought it would. Go to Trophy Smack, because this thing's legit, guys. This is like real leather. It's metal. It's not like plasticky. It's awesome.
Is that your attempt to get the Trophy Smack?
Yeah, I want to get Trophy Smacks
I have to say,
sponsorship.
I was a tad bit disappointed when you didn't win the Bolt Fantasy Football League.
Oh yeah, because we had a
the
legit.
B-Dubs ring.
We had a legit gigantic ring. Terry.
Terry got
Terry
it. I
won
hope
it.
he has that thing framed. Terry, I hope you have the ring like in a box, locked in a box on display with some lights
knock
and
over the
everything.
changing room.
So yeah, we've changed locations again.
Just walls.
We're getting there. We're getting there. So we're dressing up the front room a little bit. That's our changing room. Also Blitz's little hideout place. So if you come change your clothes in this changing room, Blitz might join you. And then the door. We're getting there.
Matt and Becca.
I don't have that decorative eye that a lot of ladies usually have. It's just not, and it sucks because I feel like I'm a creative brain.
Yeah, I mean,
But
you do.
decorating
There's
rooms
some
and
things.
everything. I mean,
but like,
I just put that vine there, and
when
I was like,
it's-
that looks amazing. That plastic vine.
You're not like an interior decorator, but you do have like visions. The big, like when it's Bolt Wars and you have a theme and you can see like how you're gonna use cardboard to make a candy castle, like a gigantic candy castle.
I can construct some
Yeah,
things.
and just how it's gonna look in the gym, or how you're gonna like transform that
Yeah.
into a different world. Like you're really good.
Maybe
but
decorating is
as
like
far
a whole
as
nother
being
game.
like a interior decorator for a house or something like that, no, not so much.
Yeah, our house is not that decorated either. So, I'm sorry you didn't get
okay.
that part of the package. It didn't come with your package. You had to upgrade for that one.
No.
Oh, episode 34 of the No Regrets podcast.
You know what? That's way better than actually. I'm so chill. Like if you were had things decorated and like
Pink.
not even
Everything
that.
pink.
Like I'm fine with you making things look good or however, but it's when it's like, oh,
Fluffy pillows.
This room is all decorative and you can't sit on a pillow, or you can't sit on the couch,
I
or
know what you're going with.
like it's too
Or
like you can't touch it because it looks a certain way.
There's
like,
always the running joke of
I don't do that.
ladies and too many throw pillows on the bed that you have to like take off
Oh yeah.
to get in
And then set
bed,
it up
and
just
then
right.
and then you throw them back on like when you wake up in the morning. That running like husband wife
Yeah.
joke. Yeah, I couldn't do that. I used to be the person, and I know there's a lot of people out there that they use the quote like "make your bed in the morning" to go with create a routine, have rituals, hold yourself accountable to things. And I used to make my bed every single morning, and now I'm still a very routine person, and obviously like you have to be when you're training like this and everything, but. Wasting your bed is, making your bed is a waste of time. Wasting your bed. Making
You're
your
gonna knock
bed
that thing over.
is, I thought I
You need
scooted
to
up,
move
but
this
Blitz's
way.
paws are right here.
Move this way.
I'm trying. Yeah, I didn't want to, I'm sorry. Making your bed is kind of a waste of time unless you're like showing your house, I guess, as like an open house.
Well, I think it's like getting people started on the right foot.
Yes. I have nothing
It's a
against, I can go
commitment
both ways
to
with it.
staying organized, getting the day started, that sort of thing. So I can see he went in the changing room. I can see that, but
Bring
yeah,
back his teepee.
I agree.
Yeah, I could go either way with it. But I used to be that person that made their bed.
There
tucked
is
in,
that concept. We get-
and it looks good. It feels good. You accomplish that little task in the morning and
there is-
everything. But then I
yeah.
was like, I'm just wasting my time.
There
'cause
is
I'm
that concept of, it kind of goes to that funny reels I showed you about focus on what you can control and not on what you can't control. But we all get caught up on, especially this year, it's 2024, like politics, the elections, all this sort of, we're trying to fix the world problems and we can't even like, it's like fix your own little world's problems first. The things you can control, fix your own house, fix the problems around bolt. Let's get better at that sort of thing instead of worrying about the things you can't control. And then maybe the more you do that, the more you'll have influence on other things. But I don't know. That's always a good perspective of like.
I don't know. I feel like it's the whole
not get caught up in some
making
other
your
things.
bed situation. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think it's really good, and I think it's almost like training you for
It's a discipline.
for people.
It's a discipline. Like no different than I'm going to come into the gym every day, do my class or do my mobility or whatever it is. It's a discipline.
Yeah, and a little bit of just taking care of yourself, having pride in like what you're, like what you have, being thankful for what you have and everything. But it is a little bit of just like
and kind of the idea of
get the day started with a completed task.
Yeah.
Because I think we kind of roam around life sometimes and not realize that sometimes we're not completing things or finishing the job or putting our minds to something and then completing it. Wow, maybe I should start making the bed
I know,
again.
right? And it goes this concept of low time preference versus high time preference. Like you give up a little bit now to make the bed and it looks nice the whole day. So you're doing something for future you instead of what's easy now. Like you come into the gym and you exercise and do something hard for your future health.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, and versus, and then it's nice to get into a made bed, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you're doing something for future self instead of putting off and doing something just whatever right now to fill your brain. So that's something too. That's really how you.
Why I make the coffee pot
You kind
at
of
night.
yeah. It's exactly.
Feels good.
It feels good. But that's an interesting just. It's easy to get caught up into just doing what's comfortable now, but any bit of success long term is having that higher time preference of like, I'm gonna sacrifice stuff now or sacrifice some effort now so I have something better in the future. That's how you build onto something bigger. So maybe we should start making our bed.
You know what's so?
Oh dang! Now I'm kind of on it. It's just because to me now it's just a reminder of that.
Yeah.
Of this thought.
Yeah. You know, I'm such a nerd when it comes.
I guess
to
you have to more often because I coach more early mornings.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So
yes.
if we start making the bed.
I like this idea.
You would have to do what? One morning.
Well, some mornings we do it. We
We
do
could
it together.
do it together. Best friends. I was trying to think of the SpongeBob song.
Yes,
But
I love this idea. Making the bed rules.
No, I was the coffee pot thing. I'm such a nerd when it comes to that nowadays because I didn't make it last night because I knew I was going to get up early today and go swimming and then come back and make it. Mm-hmm. But on the Wednesday mornings when I have less time to kind of make breakfast and get ready and come train, I need to kind of have it made. It saves a little bit of time.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing is it's so stupid. It's so dumb because I'm like, I'm going to regret it in the morning. Those are those little things I'd say to myself in workouts, like no regrets. And then I'm like, I'm going to wake up in the morning and if I don't have this dang coffee pot made, I'm going to regret it. It's those things that I feel like my brain is so crazy and I need to let it chill sometimes, but I can't. I think I'm getting more insane.
That you don't do?
What?
Is you don't set the timer. You get it all made, but then you still get up and hit the button in the morning. Next time, I'm going to help you set the timer.
Part of the reason is you're like, the light on the coffee pot shines into our room and it's bright. I guess I could put like a sticky note or something over it or actually turn the coffee pot to where it's not shining.
That's the best when it's like coming on and it's like it's like an alarm waking you up.
I tried that one time with the old coffee pot. I don't know how long ago this was.
We'll do it,
I
guys. We'll do it and
set the
report
wrong
back.
time. I'm going to end up setting the wrong time and it's going to brew
I'll
at like
help you with
midnight.
that.
And then we're going to have to get up and drink coffee at midnight because the whole pot's going to be
cold coffee in the morning.
Yeah. See, okay.
We can have a cold brew.
We're just going to have to team up and learn how to set it together because I screw that up every single time. This was
this
not
is a glimpse into real life, guys.
This conversation was not on our to-do list today. So, should you make your bed?
This is what happens when you get married.
Should you make the coffee pot in the morning? You guys let us know.
Hey, Monday.
What?
1 year.
Oh yeah.
1 year anniversary.
How crazy. And we get to party this weekend with the boat crew. Not necessarily for that. We're just partying hard, thanking everyone, hosting like a little community get-together. We usually do like a holiday party, but the holidays were busy this year. and we went through the open. And now we decided to finally pick a weekend to rent the margarita machine. Not that I'm going to like go nuts on that, but it's ordered. I can stop stressing.
You're excited for everyone
I'm
else.
just excited to see how excited everyone is about the margarita machine.
Yeah.
Because it was definitely a highlight of the wedding. Like, if you guys need a little to save moolahs for wedding tip, rent the margarita machine. Do the dual one. Like, open bar is expensive, and people will go ham on that margarita machine.
People are way fancier than us. They want like a bartender and stuff.
You're
like
telling
that.
me people don't have their weddings in the gym?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I have a thought, and then we got to get to our questions that we're going to answer today.
Ooh, you have a thought today.
The thoughts that we just went over were not on the list. Have you noticed?
This is just a conversation.
I was so proud of everyone that ran all those 400s yesterday. Bolters, if you're watching this, good job on all your running. It was a beautiful day. Like, a little cool breeze, sun was shining. It's not deathly hot yet. Everybody's already saying,
yeah, it's like mid-70s.
We're gonna think back to how glorious this was when it's like 100 and something degrees all the time. Don't break your chair again. Oh my God.
Am I gaining weight or something?
I don't know. But have you noticed, and the gym's been rocking and rolling since it's not like super, super cold anymore, and have you noticed the weather really kind of dictates a lot of people's like moods showing up? It makes it easier to show up. I've just been kind of analyzing myself first, because I think I'm going insane, honestly. But it is so hard. I think it's Saturdays. Like, Saturday's an easy day because we're up here like all morning long training and coaching, and we're like that every day. But Saturdays are kind of like the end of the week. You're trying to wrap it up, and I love when we have the garage doors open, the sun is shining in. It like almost completely changes your mood. And I've also after that
Versus the winter.
when it's got versus the winter when I've been kind of noticing the classes and like people have been more consistent, and I think it's just the challenge of like it's a little bit colder outside. It's hard to get your butt out into the cold and come train a little bit in the cold. It's a little bit harder. So it's been exciting, and I just love, we're outdoorsy people. Yeah. But I wanted to share that because I've been trying to like catch myself in those little moments of when it's harder or it feels harder or something's not going right. It's a gloomy day or something at work didn't go right. Like, you just have to acknowledge it and then still get the work done, whether it's training or a task you have to do. But the classes have been rocking and rolling around here, and it's been beautiful weather. And
all that stuff with weather and everything, that's just the story you tell yourself.
That's what I'm trying to, thank you. That's what I'm trying
Whatever you tell yourself about it is how you're going to react or how you're going to act or not act or whatever. Like, I know, I mean, even it becomes like a part of your identity. Oh, I'm not a cold weather person.
Yeah, and then
because you've told yourself that many times. You don't like the cold. I don't like the cold. I don't like the cold. I don't like the cold. And then it starts to dictate that's who you are. And then you make excuses or changes. And I mean, I know some people are like more or less, maybe they like the heat more than they like the cold, whatever it is. But it's still like, in some ways, that story that you're telling is dictating your identity. So you can change that if you want. But it's also making you, if you tell yourself stories like that, like, oh, I can't do the cold or whatever, you're making yourself less resilient, so less strong, less, because one, you start to believe it, you start to ingrain it, you avoid going out in the cold, you're not going to get that used to it, so it's going to be harder for you, but you just believe it. So,
honestly, that's
when you're trying to build resiliency, like, or
that's
physical fitness, you tie that into mental fitness is like the story you're telling yourself, whether it be through a workout doing burpees or coming in here when it's 100 degrees and we're like, it's the Bolt sauna in there. And the story you tell yourself is going to be a big part of your success or failure.
That's the whole idea behind Big Becca.
Yeah.
It really is. And the more I was like thinking about how you can bulletproof your mind a little bit and focus on what you can do, where you can actually take yourself. And I think so. I mean, I just think all of us out there are so limited up here, and if you can convince yourself of those things, like I'm not a cold weather person, or I'm bad at this, I'm bad at burpees, I'm bad at rowing, I'm bad, like, let's try to flip the script and start building and telling yourself, I'm getting better, I can do this, I can do this. And that's the whole idea behind Big Becca. Is like, after the games, I felt like the puniest little human on planet Earth, and there was nothing I could have just kept telling myself that, but I almost started joking with myself of the like, just the irony of it. Like, I used to tell you all the time, I'm just gonna eat, I'm gonna get big, I'm gonna gain weight so I can move these heavy weights and everything. And it was like halfway a joke, but a lot of frustration involved in that. And you kind of take that little sense of being the underdog and just like let it rip and try to like start building on that. And then the whole idea of Big Becca kind of stayed around. And that's what I tell myself, that if I'm feeling like small that day, I mean, that's not helping me at all.
Right.
It's just the story I'm telling myself. So, yeah, the fact is I'm a little bit smaller, but it's going to be even more incredible if I can build strength, move heavier weights, and it's possible.
Right.
One of the coolest things I had when Mitchell Hooper was over here, world's strongest man, and he was encouraging me when we were deadlifting over there. He was like, look at all the little power lifters that are your size. Yeah, they spend more time and effort focusing on powerlifting. That's why they're better at moving those weights through deadlifts, squats, and pressing than I am, because I spread my time around lots of things, not just powerlifting. Same idea with Olympic lifting. I look at all these, I don't even know what class I'd be in for Olympic weightlifting. I'm a math boy.
Like 60 or 50. I don't know. I'm not familiar with the exact female
but the
weight classes, but 55,
watching
60.
Smaller Olympic lifters throw these huge, heavy weights above their heads, and like, that's so inspiring, and it tells me like it can be done. It can be done. So why am I telling myself like it's not for me? Do I think I'm that special to where like I just can't do that? You're not special. We're all human beings with one brain that can, you dictate your own story. Yeah. That's where Big Becca came from.
And I think this is a cool thing too, this making me introspective in the moment, is some of us, like me, I love to do this. When I get uncomfortable in other things, whether it be social, psychological, emotional maybe, I like to lean into, go do something hard physically. Like, I'm good at like getting in, something uncomfortable, getting cold, doing some long crazy workout, or getting hot, or whatever. All of those things, like, I embrace that kind of stuff. But then just for those of you guys that are into more physical challenges, or you're like, oh, I kind of already got that down, and how I talk to myself physically through something that's uncomfortable. It's like I can still apply that same principle to going through an uncomfortable emotional or social situation. Because there's times I've told my story, I still do this sometimes. I'm like, I'm not a salesman. Well, yeah, I'm not going to be a salesman because I just grew up with a mindset that it always was a negative thing, like a used car salesman, that made that a part of my identity. I'm not going to do that. When it's like, anything that you're going to do or have influence or have a business, you have to sell in some way, even if it's just your attitude or presence when someone comes in.
You don't have to do it in a used
right.
car sale.
But it's like realizing like, hey, when I'm doing this or having this interaction with somebody, I'm selling in a way. I'm showing them what we have to offer, right? Yeah. And that's what sales basically is. I have something to offer you that's going to be beneficial to you. Yeah. But for the longest time, and I'm still haven't put it into practice enough to get good at it. But that's something I told myself for a long time, that, oh, I'm not a salesman. So, because I didn't ever want to come off like that. You create these own, it's
just another version of I can't.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, hey mom. If you watch this, she never let us say I can't. And I know there's a lot of parents out there that say that, and we should say that more as adults too. Well, like getting rid of the I can't.
When you find something you're uncomfortable or not, you feel uncomfortable with, you say I can, or that's not me, or you make a big boogeyman, something to be fearful of, like sales is bad, or that's used car salesman, I don't want to look like that. Like, you create this thing, or like same thing with people getting physically fit. Oh, I don't want to hurt my ankle, or I don't want to they create this idea of there's this bigger risk at it of doing it than there actually is, or that it's negative in some ways. So.
And that's just, I mean, when it comes to fitness, and that's educating them.
Yeah.
And like that's where you can turn something like sales into like, it's not sales, maybe it's educating, because I mean, this is what we love to do and this is what we believe in. So it's more like treating it like that. Wow, this conversation. See how the weather, we connected it back to fitness, and wow. There was one other thing that I was going to, oh, do you think people, and we're just athletes, we've been athletes our whole lives, and we like those physical challenges, and it's, some people like them, some people like maybe like more like puzzles, like mental challenges and everything. People that maybe feel a little bit lost or floating around in life and kind of just like not putting themselves out there, I really do think it's just because they've never felt like, why do we like to do a physical challenge? Because you like to complete it. And the rewards you get from completing it and everything. That's why we come in here. That's why this gets addicting, right? Is we talk about it all the time. The end of the workout is the best feeling because you completed it. And I think if anyone's watching this or listening to this, and where this whole weather conversation went all over the place, it's like if you feel a little bit just bored, lost, a little bit down in the dumps, like set yourself a goal, and whether it's big or small, like go complete it, a puzzle. Like literally you can sit down, like that's why puzzles are so fun, is when you get the finished picture, like it's rewarding and everything. And I was just thinking about that when, I mean, if there is some people that will go throughout life, like not setting themselves up for challenges through hardship to get the reward. And I think that is life, right? Going through the ups and downs, the obstacles to get the rewards. That's why competition's so addicting. Yeah. That's why pro athletes, like when they're in their career, Olympians and everything, they struggle after, because they've gotten that feeling so many times and you don't know what to go through next. I think we were talking about what I could possibly be doing like after I'm done competing CrossFit and everything, and one of the members in here, they're like, you'll just go find something else to compete in. And I was like, I wonder if I would still be like competing in random things, or if the challenge would turn into more like business, branding, stuff like that. So always setting yourself up for goals and challenges, and don't let the weather dictate your story and what you tell yourself. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Wow, I didn't have resin in here. What? No! You guys know where to go shop for resin.
I'm dying of thirst. I don't have any resin.
He's dying. One thing about you guys should know about Matt is his kryptonite is having no water around him. You could do anything. Resin. I believe in you, in everything you choose to do in life.
It's a story I've told myself. I like water.
Just make sure you have a water bottle always next to you. Because when we're in the airport and running around, he's like, if I don't have water, I'm going to die.
It drives me crazy.
I need to be more like that. Okay. Resin, hydration, awesome. Go check it out at goresin.com. Use my code BIGBECCA. Get hydrated, get caffeinated, and stay tuned for all the fun stuff we got coming with them. They're always a fun company to talk to, work with, and yeah, their stuff is good. On to some questions. Just a few today. I have an issue with this first question because I don't really know where to go with it. Because actually, multiple people asked this in a different way, and I was surprised that I kept reading over a question like this. What is something an intermediate athlete should focus on to become like a more advanced RX? And as a gym that we don't, we do put prescribed weights on some of our workouts. I don't even know how many, I would say 50% have weights.
Less than 50%.
50%, we don't put the RX because, the intensity, the structure, and everything, the intensity of the workout is...
We explain how the weight should feel, how many reps you should be able to do, how it should kind of go about throughout the workout, how you should be breaking it up or not breaking it up, but not giving a strict RX day.
Yeah, but...
and we have those days too, just as benchmarks to let people kind of play around with having RX days.
So I think a lot of people get way too specific on this is what a beginner looks like, this is what intermediate looks like, this is what advanced look like. And I don't want to sugarcoat anything. I I mean, you can look at athletes and be like, yeah, that's a very top tier CrossFit competitor and everything. So you can, yeah, you'll know the difference and everything. But the way people really put themselves in like levels and undermine themselves if I'm just an intermediate athlete, like irks me a little bit.
Yeah.
There's always room to get better, obviously, and we'll come up with some tips to kind of level you up. But I think it goes back to what we always talk about in here is like your intention when you're training.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many questions, right? Like, what really finding what your big weaknesses are, because you probably have, if you're an intermediate athlete, you have some like things that you're good at. It's going to be bringing up those weaknesses. That's going to like help you get to that next level.
There's like a literal way to answer it,
But-
and then like
right. But yeah, I think I like what you're saying too. Is I think that this gets missed a lot in like medicine or as well, or doctors when they are working with patients, they don't take a holistic approach in how many variables there are among humans. Like obviously we're very much the same in a lot of ways, but we're very different. Just from our anatomies to, our emotional state, our stress. There's so many different things to take into account when you're treating somebody or trying to, in this case, develop them as an athlete, that it could be for somebody as simple as, dude, if you cleaned up your eating and got 8 hours of sleep and did like one other thing, like you could go to be an RX athlete in a month.
One other accessory mobility piece
did
to
like one
supplement your classwork.
found your limiting mobility piece and did that for 2 months, you would be an RX athlete. So it's really hard to say for each person. What you have to take kind of that holistic approach and look at everyone's a unique. Now, group training is great, and you can program and adjust workouts for each person individually. So we like to call it. It's not scaling around here. It's individualizing the workout for you. But that's what I would look at is like look at your big weaknesses. Talk with a coach that knows you.
I would say if you like literally looked at anyone in our gym that we would consider intermediate, there's some major focus that you're lacking, whether it be nutrition. That's a big one that a lot of people don't like to hit because it's the outside of the gym work that supplements what you do in here when you come do class. Or if it isn't that, it's maybe like this dude needs mobility.
Yeah.
Like range of motion through any type of lift is like the big limiting factor. So I would think
it's kind of like you're
an intermediate athlete, there's something that you that is blatantly obvious that could raise everything up to that next level.
I think you can almost look at it in this way as we've talked about, or I've talked to athletes or you about this before, is like, what is your essence as an athlete? Are you a power-based athlete? Are you a conditioning? I like to go long, do tons of volume. Like everyone has their own essence in a way of like what they naturally tend to gravitate towards or they're good at. As you could look at that just the opposite of like, maybe it's not a pure weakness, but like, if I can lift a house and maybe I'm 10 pounds overweight, if I just show up and do engine every week at Bulls, right? I'm going to see drastic.
You heard it from Dr. Coach Matt
drastic
Baer.
gains. So
do
it's
the
kind of like
engine work.
It's not even. It could be specific things, or you can get into those. But it's a lot of times it's just low hanging fruit and being honest with yourself about what it is, and then if you want to get better at it, put some time.
That
into
is
it.
a really now I like this question because if I'm like trying to imagine what our intermediate in quotation intermediate athletes in here look like, they have some hole, and I just seeing how we've built myself as like an athlete is if I take that before we were like floating around games level tip of the spear kind of athlete status is my gymnastics through the roof way up here, whereas power output, power based heavy lifts were like way down here, and now we've kind of like starting to level out the playing field a little bit. And that's when you
became
look
like
at
you became a good, because of your mobility and your coordination and everything from gymnastics, you became like for your size, a good pretty technically sound, strong weightlifter, right? And and built some strength
But we were
in that
lacking
ways,
so
but
far.
lacking absolute strength.
Yeah.
Where it's like, here, pick up these awkward kettlebells or pick up
Pick up a sand
something
bag,
where you
pick up
can't
a-
use your technique.
Yeah.
And that's like been the next.
So that
kind
was,
of
and if you
push.
go to look at our what we would consider RX athletes in here, is that's just it. Their holes are filled in a little bit more. They're a little bit evened out to where every workout that they do in here, they kind of float towards the fastest times.
You know what's interesting too about this with you, and this is like interesting because you're bringing up this the timeline of your growth as an athlete, and everyone can look at this in different ways, and like your essence of being a gymnast that comes across in so many things, and that you're so mindful of technique and how to do things, and you want to do it right first. And over this past year, we've worked more on your absolute strength. I've been like,
get ugly with it. Get not necessarily ugly, but
no,
like
push.
grit your teeth.
You just need to freaking get tighter and push harder, and that kind of like.
I hate those coaching.
And like, or you need to like put more umph into it, and that's kind of something that's funny because you can look at. I mean, everyone knows the opposite of that around here is G, where he's like
Get G'd up.
loves to rip the bike off the rip the handles off the bike. You know, if it's a 1 rep max YOLO at lift, he's gonna crush it. But and now that's kind of been his thing, is like he has a lot of lifting days in here where he just like tries to keep the bar at a certain weight and try to work on his technique.
Yeah.
But that's funny that you bring that up, because I do think that's even that essence of being a 1 rep max lifter. You're not there as far as like getting freaking aggressive and being like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
This bar is gonna
Overthinker.
This bar is gonna move. I'm gonna move this bar. I'm gonna freaking.
Hi, I'm Rebecca.
Push.
I'm an overthinker.
Yeah, but I mean, it serves you well in other things, because that's why you're technically proficient and you have your gymnastics background, and that carried over a lot to your Olympic lifts.
I was doing my press to handstands last night, and I was trying to make them look so pretty, and I'm like, I'm not getting any points for making these look any prettier. But I was proud of how pretty they looked. I was like, but I'm not getting any extra points for this.
It was like the strict pull-ups at Wadapalooza. I was like, these are too perfect.
Stop, make them.
You're wasting energy.
Here.
You're making them
I'm
harder.
sorry, I'm trying, but I hope that helps you guys kind of understand. I mean, I got a lot of just questions of like intermediate RX, what that looks like, how to advance your training.
Chat with your coach. Chat with a coach that knows you.
Yeah, coaches are cool. Next question.
And
You want to say
next
anything else
question.
on it?
We did that point on.
Relationship question. Prenups, yes or no? You know, we actually have had this conversation, I think, before, a long time ago. I think it depends on your situation. I have nothing against them, really. But I did say to you one time, because it came up in a conversation, I think, of someone like getting, or maybe like we were watching a show or someone getting a prenup, that in our circumstance, being our age gap and you having a lot more to your name, I'd be like, if you wanted to say, hey, I'm want you to sign this prenup, I'd be like, cool. But I'm about to beat your ass in the financial world now too. I would take it full on as a competition.
Guys, she's just waiting for the day to turn heel and be like, I'm the gold digger.
That's not it. But yes, if everyone wants to come at Matt and be like, this dude's the groomer and everything, why didn't you come at me? Why didn't you come at me? Maybe I'm the gold digger. Okay? Did you ever think of that? But yeah, I think I have said that to you, of just like, it wouldn't have hurt my feelings, even though, actually, I take that back. It probably would have hurt my feelings a little bit, because I think there has to be like ultimate trust.
To me, I'm sure there's circumstances where it makes sense, maybe, or like we just talked about, people being different.
Yeah.
All relationships aren't exactly the same, even if they're monogamous, in-love relationships, like how those people act or interact, or what that marriage, just what that means, is not one is better than the other necessarily, but to me, it was never, I would never, it just never crossed my mind to do that, because I wasn't.
You trust me?
I trust you, and
that's a whole year.
what's mine is yours. And I know someday she's going to be like a million subscriber on YouTube. Man, what hers is mine.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Just kidding.
But I would say I think there's totally circumstances for it.
Yeah.
But I would also hope that if you go to marry someone,
I could see a situation. I don't know.
You better have complete trust in them. So,
I could see a situation where maybe you have a business or some property, and you have kids, and you want to protect them in case something crazy happens in some way, that you put part of that. I don't know. We didn't have to worry about that, but I guess for some, maybe it makes sense.
Yeah, there's so many ways around. Like if you have kids, if you have like value. I mean, if you're celebrities. Yeah. Celebrities have so much worth in their name and everything, so I'm sure they go through that a lot. But yeah, if you would have came up to me and been like, "Hey, let's talk about a prenup," I'd been like, "Okay, game on."
That wouldn't have been healthy either.
That wouldn't have been healthy at all. See, this is why it just didn't go about going that way. So I don't know. Why are you asking me this, person? Thank you for asking your question. I love thinking through these. Coach Matt Bear, do you have a random hidden talent? That's actually for both of us, but I feel like I've exposed everything that I'm already good at, like painting. Like I like arts and crafts. Athletics.
I mean, I thought I did a good job announcing for the.
Yeah! If you guys haven't seen that video.
We have a very special announcement today. Hailing out of Houma, Louisiana. But this ain't no normal human. She has grit, blitz, and never quits. The vanilla chinchilla, the Coppell killer, CrossFit Jim Carrey with a G, the squid kid that did. You might know her as Coach Rebecca around here. She floats like a butterfly, stings like a big bee. 24.3 world champion.
CrossFit Games, some sports company. If you guys need a ring announcer, I'm sure there's a actual name for that. Hit us up. We got your. Like he wrote that in like 30 minutes, like not even 30 minutes, because we were coaching and then went in the office and then wrote it up super fast. And the story of the
the story was kind of crazy because it was supposed to be this week because we have the party. But she saw the box when it got delivered, and she was immediately on Friday. It got delivered on Friday.
I get so mad at Blitz for jumping at boxes and trying to get in them and everything, but that was legit what I was doing.
Yeah, she kept trying to get me to open it, and I was like, "Oh, this is something I don't know what I ordered." And
it came in a colorful box.
Yeah, it did. So I was like, "I have to do this tomorrow," and we have to do it tomorrow at Saturday class. But otherwise, she'll be sneaking over there and opening the box.
Yeah. I was very curious about the colorful box.
No, I guess I like writing, like fun stuff like that.
But that goes along with how good of a programmer you are, too. Yeah. It's like its own form of writing, too. I think you're a very fantastic writer and very creative in your own ways. You just, sometimes you don't let it fly. If there was
What's
something,
your hidden talent?
I share everything that I do, so it's not really hidden. But there is something that I want to, if someone can help me with, I want to learn how to crochet. If my family ever, oh my God, you see that giant bee right there? Good thing that's on the outside of the, oh my gosh, the yellow jackets are going to come back. We got to dispose of them. My family knows if there's one thing in life that I've failed, like I don't fail at things. I don't quit. I figure it out or die trying. It's crocheting. Some reason I couldn't do it. And I'm that person that I love stuffed animals. I was like, I'm just going to make my own stuffed animals. I'm going to make any stuffed animal I could ever want. And I couldn't crochet. I made sock animals all the time. Like I sewed sock animals. Do you know that? You learn cool things like that.
I'm trying to think of a special talent that I know about you that I could share for everybody. You do share a lot of like all the stuff that you do.
Yeah, I'm an open book. Literally, everybody knows everything that I do. I think that's a dangerous
Your whole
thing.
life is on.
It's online. That's the dangerous thing. Don't be creepy out there. Don't be creepy. Okay? But you guys know pretty much everything about me and that and Blitz. Last question.
Already?
Coach Jin's question of the week. She kind of fell a little bit behind because our podcast was going all over the place. But Coach Jin's question of the week. Yeah.
Watch, Blitz hates when I blow in my hands. Like if it's cold outside and I blow in my hands, he freaks out.
Nope,
Now you're not going to do it for the camera?
Nope, he's too tired. Are you ready? Focus. It's a great one. On an average day, just an average day, everyday life, how many pigeons do you think you could reasonably carry? Pigeons.
Carry?
Yeah, on an average day, you're not super strong today. You're just like normal strength.
How much do they weigh?
It's got to be reasonable. You got to read the details of this question. On an average day, how many pigeons do you think you could reasonably carry? How big is a pigeon?
How far?
No, there's no details like that. From the cars to inside the gym. Pigeons like what?
They're light though. They got hollow bones. They're a bird.
But size-wise, they're like.
Oh yeah, it's more. It would be more.
Like, could I do this?
Keeping them stacked.
Could I do this to a pigeon and like pick it up like this, or is that?
Yeah.
Is it like that big?
Yeah, it's not that big.
And I could like.
Yeah.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, like 3 on each arm,
It just depends.
and
if
then
they
like
would
a
sit on
couple in
each
the
other.
middle, so I could like stuff them like this,
They're not gonna just
like a
let you-
sandbag.
They're not gonna let you just. Stuff
It's gonna
them.
be way easier than the who's fell. And then I don't think, like maybe I could. I'll wear a bra, so maybe I could like stuff one in there. And then under the chin, so I'm up to
I say like 20,
3, 6,
27.
9,
I say 27.
10 right here. If they cooperate, I'll like, okay. I'm going to say 10. You think you can hold 27 pigeons?
Yeah, because I'm gonna just hold them at the bottom and then stack them up.
Like, no, they're going to slip through.
No, not when I squeeze them.
They're going to spill over. 27? I'm going to order stuffed
27
pigeons. Like, I'm going to order
pigeons.
stuffed pigeons so we can test this.
I'm gonna get my.
Actual, real life size stuffed pigeons. Where can I get those? Someone give me a link.
My pigeons are
10.
coming.
Gin. 10 pigeons, please. 1 for Blitz. He just holds it in his mouth. He's a bird dog. All right. That's your answer.
27.
It says reasonably. That's it for today's podcast. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't let the weather dictate who you are. Write your own story. And don't forget to like and subscribe and all that good stuff. Cool. See you guys later. Peace out.